The statistics tell a really compelling story. Today's kids and today's teens, they're anxious, right? We know this, we hear this, we feel this. They're dealing with more worry and more stress than ever before. And we believe it's a shared sentiment among parents that as time passes, the outside world is just getting more complicated. Well, my next guests believe that kids often don't feel safe outside the home. So they're more determined than ever to create safety inside of it. Alexis and Chanté, hosts of the online community Let's Talk Sis, join me in studio. It's so great to have you both. You're going to help us make our home a summer haven, right?
Yes.
That's
we
the
hope
goal.
so. That is the goal.
That's the goal. How are you? I should say, you on Let's Talk Sis, you cover all sorts of really important topics concerning diversity, race, motherhood, even sisterhood. One thing I really admire about you two, though, is your ability to see. Like, you have a pulse on what women are feeling, what women are talking about. And this idea of our homes being a haven, it's top shelf concern for so many mamas out there.
It really is. And I found that sometimes parents think we have to have all the cool toys and electronics to get kids to come over and hang out in our homes. But that's really not the case. It's when kids feel comfortable and you get to know your children's friends and you just create this environment where people want to be. And that is really what helps kids. It helps your kids and your kids' friends. And it's really important that we prioritize that.
I'm so glad you said that, because I think so often this goal or this topic is wrapped up into, so I put in a pickleball court, or so I put a hoop shoot in my basement. You don't need the things. You're talking about a feeling.
Yes.
Absolutely. And I think it looks different based on your children's ages.
Sure.
You know, but what we found is really that connection with our children. So with little tiny kids, are we pulling them in close? Are we having that relationship connection? And even with our teenagers, like Alexis said, are we involved in their life so we know what they're experiencing? Because it is stressful in this outside world.
And not just different kids, but you also want to highlight different families. Different parents are in different summer situations. Can you call out and identify a few, I don't want to say limiting factors, but definitely contributing factors to how home might be structured this summer?
I think even parents that maybe have a high-need child, and then the rest of the siblings are trying to figure that out, working parents, parents that are working from home. There's so many different things nowadays that you really have to adjust, that I think you have to recognize that not all of us are going to have this beautiful, gorgeous summer with vacations, but we can still have wonderful experiences even within our own circumstances. And Chanté and I are really passionate about supporting moms, supporting parents, even in their different situations.
Yeah, summer can throw some curveballs. Like you said, the working mom thing is hard.
It is so
Kids
hard.
are playing, parents are trying to work, often at home. So yeah, there's a lot going on. You say no matter the situation, moms can and should find a routine that works for them and serves their family.
Yeah, I think that kids thrive with a routine.
Agreed.
And Alexis and I were talking about this. That may change. You know, summer sports, things adjust, but if the kids know what to expect, that's really, I think, the foundation of it, is that it's not chaos. They know, okay, today it could be a daily routine that you talk about the night before. Hey, tomorrow, this is what our day is going to look like, you know?
So it's not a rigid chore chart that we're cracking the whip on Monday through Friday, but
there's peace with knowing what to expect.
Yes, and I found that especially transitioning from school to home, my kids almost like get nervous, like, well, what are we doing? What's going on?
They're antsy.
But it's also good for them to have that downtime and to even be bored and to get creative. And so the routine doesn't mean like excessive structure, but it is just knowing kind of what your plan is, what to expect for the day. I know some days we have dentist appointments and camps and things, and then other days we have a lot of downtime, but still having structure helps me as a mom. Just be a lot more chill.
So that you're not the one shaking with it. And sometimes it's just one, like we had an empty day last week, and I'm thinking there was no camp, there was no dentist, there was no lesson, there was nothing. We'd swam our guts out the previous 2 days, so that was kind of, we needed a pool break. But all it was a simple snow cone at the end of the night. I mean, that was a 20-minute excursion, right, that I built up to all day. Just one little thing that can provide that routine or structure.
Yes, absolutely.
Something. To create a summer haven, you say moms should involve their kids in the day-to-day too.
Yeah, I feel like we can't stop the life that we had just because kids are out of school.
Right.
So how can we pull them in close? It really does calm their nervous systems when they have that connection with their caregiver or parent. So if we need to go grocery shopping, how can we involve them, especially with young kids? Can they help us make the list? Can they go shopping with you? And it's harder sometimes.
I was going to say, do they have to?
Exactly.
And I mean, not all the time, but these are fun activities.
Right. But as an activity, they can feel involved and like they're a part of it. But it does put a little more stress.
They love it when I say, what do you want for dinner? You plan it.
They're like, I'm
and then they make it, and we all get so excited, and they try creative things. So really, involving kids in the day-to-day, that's how our moms probably used to do it. You know?
That's a great point. And we can't put the whole world on pause just to have summer fun. So making the everyday chores part of their life too.
Yeah, they learn so much.
I think it's a great reminder. We talked about kind of keeping room for imaginative play, but let's explore that a little bit, because you can't have, it's a balance. You can't have too many activities, otherwise the imaginations aren't given room to fly.
Absolutely.
It is a balance.
And I feel like to almost kind of train kids because they're not used to that anymore.
Yes, you have to push through the complaining.
You do. And I think getting outside, getting creative, giving them that space, not rescuing them with, okay, 5 more minutes and then you can go get on your video games, that letting them just kind of sit in that discomfort and then figure it out.
Yes.
That's so healthy.
That word is so good, discomfort. We had another summer day that comes to mind last week where they had to push through a good hour. I mean, they were whining, complaining. It was 60 minutes of discomfort for all of us, but then suddenly they're horses on their bike, riding in a stable. You know what I mean?
Yes.
They worked it out, so kind of letting the pain go for a minute might push them to that imaginative space.
It does. That's how our childhood was, 20, 30 years ago. We didn't have all of the things. And so you really do go there naturally, but the kids these days, they need a little push, and it's okay to be bored.
Yeah, and push for outside too. You both have families of your own, and it makes you aunts to each other's kids.
Yes.
And that's a special relationship as well. So in our last minute together, what would you say on how we can create a home that other kids, nieces, nephews, or otherwise, friends, neighbors, a place other kids feel comfortable and safe too?
That's a great question.
I think that's so good. I just feel like, first of all, we adore each other's children.
Isn't it the best?
But I really do love my kids' friends also. And when they come into my home, I want them to feel welcome. I want to engage. I want to make eye contact. I want them to feel that I am happy to see them, and it is such an honor to have them in our home. And I feel like that goes such a long way. Like, I remember as a kid going into some families' homes and being like awkward and nervous.
You knew where you weren't wanted.
Yeah.
You knew where they were a little too tight.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I think that is just, I don't know, when I see my sister's kids and when she sees my kids, it's just so much love and excitement.
Yes.
And I want other people to experience that when they're in our homes
Let's
also.
extend that energy to everyone. Ladies, thank you. We love the conversations you put out there. How can people listen along and be part of your community?
Yeah, we're on Instagram, Let's Talk _sis on Instagram.
Yes, and we're launching our podcast
Woohoo!
in the next little bit, so you'll be able to
Fantastic.
listen to us even more.
I didn't know that. I'm so glad.
Yes.
About darn time.
Yes,
Thank you.
I'm just saying, I'll be downloading and listening. We'll link you over to their website from ours so you can as well. Thanks again. Happy summer. Happy summer.